If you born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it's your mistake. Hello and thank you so much for having me. I Akanksha, privileged to be here. Don't you think if there not be any book published, there will not be any newspaper, no journals, and not any publication of WHO, World Bank, United Nations organization, our life will be worth of it? How we come to know what's going around in the world surrounded by us, how Chamber of Commerce is taking the decision for the benefit and growth of our in trade and industry, how other United Nations organization, a World Bank and World Health Organization is taking the decision for the benefit of their members of the country. So here is the very important source which helps to collect such information or gather the data, which is known as secondary sources of collection of data. So let's start with the very interesting sources of collection now. Previously you have gone through the primary sources of collection of data, where data collected directly by the investigator from respondent either through telephone or mobile or through email or through enumerator or through directly connecting with the respondent. But here in secondary sources of collection of data, data is collected from indirect sources which are not original in nature and it's second-hand information. For example, if you are collecting the information from book or by reading newspaper or by reading the publication of different organizations, so here you are gathering the information from secondary sources where data is already published by someone else, where research already has been done and you are only gathering the information from indirect sources. Further, secondary data is also collected through two different sources. Published sources, for example, through newspaper, and unpublished sources, for example, research carried out by any individual in the universities or research institutes. So here we will go in detail one by one for published sources and for unpublished sources. Now question arises, what are some of the published sources of secondary data? So these are government publication, semi-government publication, reports of committees and commissions, publication of trade association, publications of research institution, journals and papers, publication of research scholars, international publication. Now we will go in detail for this published sources. Very first example of government publication. These are publications of Department of Drug Administration, which provide information related to its working affairs regularly, whose function is to provide medical services, and Central Bureau of Statistics, which provide the regular statistical data related to program implementation and its working affairs of our country. Next, published sources of secondary data collected through semi-official or government publication, where data or information is collected through the publication of municipal corporation or district board, which publish periodical reports and give information about health, sanitation, birth, deaths, etc. After that, publication of professional trade association is also one of the very important published sources of collection of secondary data. For example, data collected through the publication of Chamber of Commerce, which publish reports and statistics relating to trade and commerce. Next, very popular published sources of secondary data is journals and newspaper. For example, Journal of Industry and Trade, Statistics of Trade, and newspaper like Economic Times, Financial Express. You can see in diagram also there are certain journal and newspaper were given in that diagram. Next, publication of international organization also plays very important role in the collection of published sources of secondary data. So here is the example of publication of international organization. Likewise, publication of United Nations organization, whose role is to promote international peace and security and publish in its reports information regarding international conferences and peacekeeping operations, etc. You can also see in diagram there are certain examples of publications were given. For example, yearbook. One more example of publication of international organization is the publication or report published by WHO, that is World Health Organization, who published in its reports the information regarding medical and health issues. You can see the example given in diagram. So after published sources of secondary data is next sources of secondary data is unpublished sources, where many of the government, private offices, research institute, universities, they collect data on regular basis but they do not publish it. So when we are getting the information or collecting the data from their record or file maintained by them, that is the unpublished sources of the collection of secondary data. Now let's move on the next topic, that is secondary data must possess following characteristic, or what are the precautions taken during the collection of secondary data. It have first reliability, suitability, and then adequacy. Now reliability of data means data collected can be trusted. It can be tested by checking that who collect the data, what were the different sources of data, and was data collected properly or not. Suitability can be checked by collecting the data which are suitable as per the purpose of the inquiry, because it cannot be suitable in other inquiry. It can be only suitable as according to the purpose, and also by knowing the purpose, scope and nature of the original inquiry, which can be studied properly. The last one is adequacy of data, which means that data which are collected must be adequate or provide the complete information. It should not be incomplete, then only it can be trusted. Till now we have learned about the different sources of collection of data, which were primary and secondary, and where further secondary were classified into published and unpublished sources. Now it's time to know what were the different methods to collect the data, that are census and sample method. So when we talk about census method, it take into account whole population for the collection of data, whereas in sample method a small group were taken into consideration or were chosen that act as the representative of entire population. That's why it has been said that census is very time consuming and expensive, as it include or just taken into consideration whole population, whereas sampling is quick and inexpensive, because only few group of people were taken into consideration or chosen for the sample. For example, when you already know that every 10th year counting of population occur through the survey, where each or whole population is taken into consideration to know the population of our country. But when we talk about sampling method, you can take example of lottery. In a bowl, few chits were there, from which you will choose only one, which act as a lucky draw, and that chosen chit will act as a sample here. Or take one more example, if I want to know about the status of Lakme product, I will choose few group of people who act as the representative and tell about the status of Lakme product. So here is the very important information for you. Removed portion of collection of data. Now you not have to go in detail for the types of sampling method. So this is not in the course now. Now next concept is what is disadvantages and advantages of census method. So advantages are true measure, as data collected through census method is represents or considered as true, because here every or whole population is counted or taken into consideration. Other advantages like it also give detailed information, because here whole population has taken into consideration. But on the other hand, disadvantages are that census method involve higher cost, and also takes long time to collect the data as it is very lengthy process, because here whole population is taken into consideration or counted. Here is the next concept, that is National Sample Survey Office. It is also one of the government organization which is also the largest sources of collection of secondary data, which collects the data at large scale. Or you can say it is also one of the very important sources of collection of data, which was established in 1950 and conduct regular socio-economic surveys. Here is the important areas covered under this survey, which are published under its publication or reports are land and livestock holdings of our countries, condition of housing and migrations of our country, especially of slum dwellers. And also it tells about the employment and unemployment status of our countries, and also the one of very important source which tells about the area of consumer expenditure. And next one is about the sources of household income in India. Now the last topic for today is functions of National Sample Survey Office or organization. So its functions are: it conducts large scale sample survey on various subjects like household consumption expenditure, employment and unemployment status, and also health and medical services, etc., or many more. It also helps different states by developing suitable survey techniques for obtaining the truthful and timely estimates of crop production. And also it conducts the annual survey of industries every year. Thank you for listening me. Now it's time to think more about the different sources. Earlier I have given you to collect the data or do the survey through primary sources. Now it's time to do survey through secondary sources and think more about different methods to do survey, and just continues to watching my channel.